You've had a chance to play this tournament a couple of years. How do you feel like, is there like an animosity growing with MLS and Liga MX? Do you feel like there's kind of that rivalry starting to develop?
Yeah, for sure. I think you look at it stems from national teams. I think you look at the U.S. Mexico rivalry, and it kind of now you're branching it down into club teams, and you play a lot of those familiar faces in Leagues Cup and throughout your time. And I think both leagues have something to prove, and I think it's one wanting to have the upper hand on the other. So I think it's good that not only we have this, but there's a lot of competition throughout, from top to bottom throughout the Leagues Cup. And you see in the results, a lot of teams are picking up results that people didn't expect, and vice versa. So I think it just brings a different level of competition to both leagues.
There's been a couple of moments, I know you were on the field for a couple of them, where you get some afters and things of that nature, and I know that that's not something that you guys want to have as a part of a game, but is that the kind of thing that brings a team together and also shows you how to deal with that when the league season resumes?
Yeah, for sure. I think, I chuckle at that a little bit because I talk to some of the guys, it's a game within the game. I think you look at, a team can go up and they'll go down, hold their leg or two for a little longer just because they're stalling in the game. And it's, to an extent, an art if you look at it in the right way. And I think it's something that we've have accepted and needed to kind of get through in Leagues Cup and kind of take that into, our play in the league, and know that, some of these moments where you're looking to see out a game, it's that art of the game within the game. So I think it's been good, brings us together to know that we have each other's back through thick and thin, and again, taking that into every game coming up.
The team has had a couple of late game moments this season. I think about Seattle, I think about Edon's goal against Nashville, and obviously what happened with Carolyn on Sunday. What kind of belief does a moment like that create in you, whether you're down a goal, even that you can get something late, even if it's something that's like created out of just what looked like an innocuous set piece?
Yeah, I think it shows. We'll always fight until the end. I think we've been on both sides of it this year, and we have to continue to take care of business in those moments of the game. Like I said, it's a game within the game, and fighting back and knowing that no matter if it's the first minute or the 95th minute, we'll go to the end and pull something out of a hat if we need to.
Oh, we haven't seen you in a few months. How are you enjoying Charlotte?
Yeah, I love it. I think it's been warm, to say the least. The pup's not been the happiest, but outside of that, it's been great. Finally settled in, and got to tour around, see a little bit of the restaurant, see a little bit of the city as a whole, and I've been enjoying it. I think my mom's been down 2 or 3 times now, so it's good to have her here for games and ultimately being able to see her.
Is there anything like in particular in town that you love to do, or restaurants, or anything you like to see?
Yeah, just restaurants. It's all new scenes and new restaurants for me, so I've been able to poke my head into a few, and I was leaning on Bill and George a little bit for restaurant recommendations, and George stood me up a couple times, but other than that, it's been good. So
Who has the best taste of the team?
I would say probably Bingham. He can pick out a good restaurant, to say the least. I think Westy's had a few. Nate's had a few. I think some of the guys who have been here a little longer give me more options rather than just the typical. Bill told me Chipotle was good here, so
that's disappointing.
that helps. So.
Is there one or two that you've been to that you're like, oh, this has been a good spot?
Yeah, I was trying to figure out the best sushi, and it's still a debate within the team, but I went to a few sushi spots. There's, went to Supperland. I still have Crunkleton, a few of those places still on the list, but yeah, just trying to knock those out when we have time, and being able to just see what the food scene has to offer.
Yeah. And then this being your first year in Charlotte, just the midfield in general, how has this challenge been different from maybe your experience in Portland?
Yeah, I think you look at the midfield, you can say it's similar, but also different. I think we have a lot of quality in the midfield. I think it's been tough for us to kind of get going at times, but I think it shows to the quality we have, that being able to rotate and different pairs have been, the best thing for us. It's you look at our midfield group, everyone is comfortable playing with each other, and it's just more of a matter of continuing to push each other to make sure we can do what we can to put us in the best position to win games.
Is there anything in particular that coming to Charlotte you really wanted to improve on your game, and like what would that have been in particular that you're working on this season?
Yeah, I think it's just mainly for me was staying healthy and continuing to stay healthy, and that's been one of the biggest things. I think it's been an up and down year on the field for me, and I think it's a new environment, plays a factor, but also just kind of just the consistent performances that I want to continue to try and put out there. It's been, as I said, up and down, and just taking that with a grain of salt and just knowing that there's always another game.
Dean has spoken a lot about you in terms of like seeing you as a 10, and BL's been great this season. Where do you think you're best in the midfield?
Yeah, I think like a double pivot. I think an 8 is a good role to kind of put it. I think it's an interesting place for me to stand when Pep's playing the way he is, and it's one that I want to continue to push him. And he's setting the bar so high that it's good for me because it shows that he's not only playing at a really high level, but it's helping the team. So it's the moments I come in, can I do the same? And then you look at when I'm playing a little deeper, it's also bringing a different role and a different style of play that we would have in the midfield. And I think it's been good for us to kind of have different options and different styles to play in every game. And I think it's helped us in a lot of moments this year.
How has your experience in Charlotte been different from your experience in Portland?
I would say it's pretty similar. I think the last year, coming back from an injury was you're battling with a lot of quality players in your position. It's been similar here. You look at the way Brant's played, the way Wesley's played, the way Didi's played. Nikola, who still pushes everyone every day in training. It's 5 players in the midfield that are battling every day. We kick each other, and one day someone could not be happy with another person, and vice versa. I think it just goes to show that not only this league is growing, but the quality of players in this league is growing. That I think any one of us can step up in the midfield and put in a performance when needed, and that's kind of been my biggest thing here is the competition we have in every position.
Cool, thank you.
We'll go to Carol.
Hey, sorry, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Eryk, one of the things that Dean had talked about with you was just looking for a little bit of improvement or adjustment to his style without the ball. Has that been a challenge, kind of getting to where he would like you to get?
Yeah, I think it's one where it's a different style of play than I've played, I would say, in the past year, maybe the past couple of years. And it takes some time to kind of get used to. I think it's a different speed, closing people down, and different roles in different games. It's just more of adapting to that. And I think Dean's been really vocal on what he's won for me, and I think it's a challenge I've accepted and continue to try and improve on. And it's one that's been fun to kind of go through, because there's been waves where I feel like I've done it right, and there's been times where it's wrong. And I think it's the willingness to be open to improving is kind of the biggest thing with me, and that flexibility to play in different roles and different positions under him.
And speaking of challenges, I know Pep is, might be out some time with an injury. Do you look at that as an opportunity for you to step up your offensive contributions?
Oh, absolutely. I think that's something coming in is what I wanted to bring to this team. And I think, unfortunately, he goes down with an injury. Hopefully it's not too long, but it's one where, you look at his body of work this season and how can I piggyback off that and kind of help some of the other guys get going or continue to push the guys who've been flying this year, and just kind of taking that, hit the ground running with that.